So last week we started talking about delays. Is that good or bad for developers and publishers to put on some delays as we have seen, especially in this COVID period, a lot of game, at least 51 this year, plus at least 3, 4, 5 next year already put on delays. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? And that's what we're already talking about last week. And as you said, we love to digress a lot. So since Krian couldn't make it this week and Phil is gone, actually, I hope he's fine.
I'm sure
That's
he's
2 weeks
fine.
in
He's
a row
probably
now.
just still asleep.
So I guess we'll have to digress a lot to fill up our hour.
All right, but yeah, as far
Exactly.
as a game that was delayed that I think came out pretty good. If I remember correctly, I believe Final Fantasy VII Remake was delayed. Actually, no, it was delayed. Yeah. So, and I was very happy with the way that came out. I mean, some people complained about textures on doors, but I think that was the biggest complaint. But I was very happy with the way that
Texture.
turned out. Yeah, and I really liked the way that they did it with the chapters, so that it didn't feel as much like a corridor as some of the older ones. Um, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the next one, because where the next one starts off is where the overworld started in the original Final Fantasy VII.
Mhm.
So just being in Midgard did give them advantages in terms of development on how to structure the game and stuff like that, because it was fairly linear story wise. The story beats are where you need to go in the original, so that was to their advantage. I'll be curious to see what they do in the next one. I'm wondering if they'll probably do it kind of a cross between remake and um what's the other one, 15, where maybe you have a bigger map, but like 15 had chapters as well, where after you beat it you could go back and play specific parts. So I'm wondering if it'll be kind of like that. I'm not sure, but we'll have to see. But that one was
Possibly,
delayed, and I
but
thought it came out
yeah,
great.
and the next one will probably be delayed too.
I am almost certain that the next one is going to be delayed. There is a very slim chance that it won't, I will say. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just to go back on the topic of 14, remind me, it was just delayed a month, right? Not even.
Not even, I think it was supposed to originally come out on what, November uh 13th or something like that, or
Ah, okay. So
23rd, and then
people
it's been
don't.
delayed to December 7th. So it's not even a full month, I don't think.
So maybe you guys are too young, but before FF14 there was Warcraft, and each time they had a new release, the servers crashed automatically every time, and there was what, 6 or 7 add-on, and every single add-on it crashed. And on FF14, I don't remember if it really crashed, but it was very near crash, or so hard to get actually in game. So I can understand for them, to take a month to build up their servers. We'll see how good it is, or at least you and the Phil will. And if you can improve your quality of life of getting inside the server, it's invaluable. Because I recall myself, I bought the game, I was excited, I want to play, and I can't play for 3 days because the first server were like, too many people, let me leave. Because not only they're releasing a new game, usually it's also the time they launch campaign of yeah, come back to the game, 15 days for free or 1 month for free.
Yeah.
So the influx of old customer and new customer, well, are just too big. So no, as long as it improves the quality of life, it's a good thing, at least to my point of view.
Yeah, I think I'm not quite sure how it's going to turn out this time. It's funny because when I played WoW, I played vanilla WoW, and I actually stopped right before the first expansion, and then I came back for Battle for Azeroth, but I think I came back right after it started, so I wasn't there on like the day. And then I stopped after the Blitzchung incident with the whole, what was it? Was it Hearthstone? I think, where the guy said, freedom for Hong Kong, and they banned him.
Mm.
And when they did that, I was like, nope, Mm-mm. So I banned myself, and I made a
So you
deal
bought the
that,
game for nothing?
well, yeah, and not for, well, no, because I played it for a few months. I think I played it for like 2 months
Okay.
or something. I think it was, and then yeah, and then I banned myself for that, and I made a deal that I would ban myself for the duration that Blizzard had banned the player for Hearthstone. So that was 6 months, and I ended up not playing for I think 2 years. And then my friends really wanted to get back into it with what was the latest one, Shadowlands, I think. And so
Ooh.
I finally came back like 2 years later or something like that, and played for a few months, and we haven't played that for a while. But yeah, so I was never really there when those ones released, and then with Final Fantasy 14, I joined. I guess it was either, I think it was between the release of Stormblood and the release of the first post Stormblood patch. I think it was because I don't think Rabanastre was available yet. So I joined during that time, so I missed the whole influx from Stormblood. But with Shadowbringers, I remember that when you would sign in, yeah, you would have a queue, and it would say like, you're uh, number 414 of people waiting to get into the game, and it could take a while to get in, and it really confused me too, because what would happen is it says, you're this number, but it doesn't count down. I remember when I played League of Legends, it would always count down, and it would say like where you are in the queue, So it's like, okay, you're 414. Now you're 396. Now you're 386. Now you're 375. Now, so it tells you that you're getting closer. Final Fantasy 14 doesn't do that. So it just says that number, and you just have to wait, and you have no idea whether it could be 10 minutes or 10 seconds to get in. Uh, so yeah, so that was it never crashed, but then I did like the fact that they said that if you're idle for 30 minutes, it'll automatically kick you out of the game so that other people can log in. Because there are
True.
a lot of people in Limsa Lominsa who just like to hit the dance emote and then walk away and dance
Protect that
forever.
coffee and
Yeah, exactly. So now they have to come back every now and then and click the keyboard or whatever.
Yeah, I remember there was this trick when you were in the queue like this. You just get in the queue and cancel and re get in the queue right away. And sometimes it just log you in.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that whenever I would log in and then I would hit cancel and then I would hit it again to refresh the number, sometimes the number would go up because it would kick me out of the queue. So maybe if you did it fast enough, it could boost you to the front. But
Something
um,
like this. I don't know.
yeah, I learned that you have to just stay in the queue and just accept that that number is not true and just
Accept
take your
that
chances.
fate.
Yeah, exactly. But I
You paid
think
for it. No, wait for it.
exactly. But I think that because now they've moved to the new data centers. I think that was after Stormblood. Might have been, or Shadowbringer. I think that was after Shadowbringer, but maybe that was just before Shadowbringer. I don't remember. But yeah, now they have the new data centers up, so that should make things a little bit easier, I think. But yeah, don't quote me on that.
Crossing fingers.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. Plus, I'm playing on an East Coast U.S. server, so I'm here in Taiwan, so my latency isn't the best.
Oh,
It's
like the
actually not that
lag.
bad. It's actually
Really?
not that bad. Yeah, yeah, it's not that bad. I can
Play a
occasionally
ninja?
there's lag, but huh?
Can you play a ninja with lag? I remember
Uh
there was a few rolls. If you have a little lag, just half a second or something, you're dead because you need to get out of the red zone. And as long as
yeah.
you have a
No,
lag, it's
that's the
finished.
interesting thing is I don't know if they've changed it or not, but for me, yeah, it's that's one thing that I learned very early on was that if you see an AoE on the ground, you're not going to be hit by the AoE, you're going to be hit by that icon on the ground. So if you're inside the circle when the circle goes away, but you move out of the way for the attack, you'll still get hit by the attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But at the same time, where if the circle goes away, you can move back in and the guy will slam something right down on your head. But if you weren't in the circle when it disappeared, you'll take no damage. So, yeah, the point is you have to watch the things on the ground. Don't watch the animations. But I know that Final Fantasy 14 does something different from. I don't know if WoW does this now, but they do everything on server ticks. And so when you hit your command, it's not, and they don't, you don't immediately respond to it. what'll happen is it'll send the command to the server, and when the server ticks over, that's when it executes the command. So it executes everybody's commands at the same time. So because of that, I think that makes kind of a natural latency in the game, and it makes it so if your latency is really high, it's not as bad because everybody's
Oh,
kind of dealing with this.
that's a
Um,
good improvement.
yeah, so it definitely makes it so that the game is not as twitchy as maybe some other games. Like if you were playing, say, Black Desert Online or something like that, then you want to be able to get that lag out of the way because everything's it's kind of built like a fighter, like Street Fighter or something like that. You do not want lag. But in
No.
Final Fantasy 14, since it's like you hit the attack and then it's a charge or whatever, it's not that bad. So yeah, the fact that I'm all the way over here in Taiwan is not an issue. I've had some games where it's not a big issue. When I played the Star Wars Battlefronts, it was not a big issue, and I've had other games where it was just awful. I played there was a game that was free on PS Plus. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was like Dead Star or something like that. It's not available anymore. They took it down. But yeah, that one was awful. If I played with my friends, I would have like 7-second lag, and it was just
Oh,
terrible.
no,
It
I
would
can
just be
play this.
janky, and it was just I could not play with them. And so we were like, okay, well maybe I should host, and then they'll log in, and then they could not play. They were like, oh my god, this is awful. So but yeah, but having dedicated servers, I think that one was peer to peer though, whereas this should be dedicated servers. But again, we're getting off topic on delays.